Welcome, readers. Today on Book Chat, the Three Bloggers One series feature is returning to the world of Mercy Thompson. We are reading the 12th book in series, Smoke Bitten, by Patricia Briggs. Stay tuned. Hey everyone, I'm your host, Tamara Ford, and welcome to Book Chat here on the Shelf Addiction Podcast. Participate in this book discussion by joining the Facebook group Shelf Addiction Official. Talk about the series with us there as well as other bookish topics. I hope to hear your thoughts on this book discussion. You can also find all three of us on Twitter and Instagram. The links for everything I've mentioned are below in the show notes. If you enjoyed today's episode, please support this podcast by sharing it with some book nerd friends or on your favorite social media space. That would really help me out, and I appreciate you for doing so. The uncut video version of this podcast is available now on Patreon. Join us there for exclusive videos, including the podcast after show, where we get even more candid. So if you're interested in that, you'll need to come on over to Patreon and sign up. Before we get started, I have to issue a spoiler warning. This is a roundtable book discussion, so nothing is off limits. You've been warned. We've got a fun hour ahead of us, so let's get started. So today we are covering a really awesome book. We are returning to a world that we love so much, and that is the Mercy Thompson world. We are reading Smoke Bitten, which is the 12th book in series by Patricia Briggs. And as always, joining me are my super fabulous co-hosts for the Three Bloggers One series, Read Along, and that is Casey and Nicola. Welcome, ladies.
Hello.
Hi.
Welcome. So we are going to do our usual spiel. We're going to give you the stats and the synopsis. So Nicola, would you start with the stats for us?
Sure.
Okay.
The stats? Sure. All right. So this book is 368 pages in print. The release date is March 17 of this year. And it's published through Amazon Services. So I guess it's somewhat self-published.
Ace.
So.
No, it's Ace.
Okay.
Penguin, Ace.
All right. Yeah, that makes more sense. So sorry about that.
Yeah.
I'm looking at the wrong, apparently looking at a wrong thing. So.
And I'm torn because the book we have in our hands says the 17th, but Goodreads says the 10th. So maybe they pulled it up.
Could be.
I don't know.
So we all had access to an early version, so the review copy. So as always, there's some caveats there that, if we were going to do exact quotes, which we usually don't, things can change a little bit between the version we read and the version that gets published.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Okay, Casey, how about the synopsis?
All right. In this electrifying new entry in the #1 New York Times bestselling urban fantasy series, shape-shifting mechanic Mercy Thompson will face a threat unlike any other. I am Mercedes Athena Thompson Humpton. My only superpowers are that I turn into a 35-pound coyote and I fix Volkswagens. But I have friends in odd places and a pack of werewolves at my back. It looks like I'm going to need them. Centuries ago, the Fae dwelt in Underhill until she locked her doors against them. They left behind their great castles and troves of magical artifacts. They abandoned their prisoners and their pets. Without the Fae to mind them, those creatures who remained behind roam freely through Underhill, wreaking havoc. Only the deadliest survived. Now, one of those prisoners has escaped. It can look like any creature it chooses. But if it bites you, it controls you. It lives for chaos and destruction. It can make you do anything, even kill the person you love the most. It is here in the Tri-Cities, in my territory, and it can't remain. Not if I have anything to say about it.
She does have stuff to say about it. She always has stuff to say about it.
She always has stuff to say.
And to do.
Yes, and to do. So I thought it was I think we should just kind of start at the beginning on this one, because we kind of pick up not too far after the last book, from what I can tell. And of course, they're in the garage fixing things. And then we learn really quickly when Mercy goes home that things are awry in the relationship. And I'm like, what? What happened already? That's the first thing out of my mouth. And then the second thing out of my mouth as I turn the next couple pages It's Christy, you witch! You're back! You witch!
Again with Christy.
Again.
Always with Christy. Always.
Okay, what should we tackle first? You know, Christy's influence and ability to just wreck a group of people in 10 seconds flat, or the whole Mercy Adam thing. Which should we address first, guys?
Well, I thought the Christy thing was going to be bigger than it was, right?
Mm-hmm.
It kind of faded out a little bit, so we could kind of knock that out, I guess.
Yeah, it did fade pretty quickly after everyone stopped to think about. And I still don't understand how this far in the game, people are still jumping to conclusions. Arielle, still flying off the handle. And still not like looking at the big picture, even though we know Christy is manipulative and she makes people feel like they need to protect her. I still feel like this has happened too many times for you not to take a breath, just a breath, and think about it.
I kind of wanted something. Yeah, I kind of wanted something worse to happen to Arielle.
She deserves something bad.
The whole baby excuse was weak. Like her saying that her sister's pregnant, and Adam's like, okay, well, we'll get you a surrogate. I'm like, no, this is weak. This is weak. This is not an excuse. She's smart enough to know better. You need to smack her down in front of everybody.
Yeah, that's where I was at. Maybe not kill her.
No, not kill her.
That's not Adam's style. But he did swear that oath.
He did try. He always tries to get out of killing his people, which makes sense. I mean, you're not just a savage, just killing people. But my goodness, anyone can do anything in your pack. You'll try to work it out before you kill them. Like, when do you start acting like following the pack rules? I mean, she challenged him basically in front of everybody. And I mean, she's supposed to be so strong. She's supposedly stronger than the guys. I would have knocked her down a couple pegs. I'm sorry. Like, okay.
That's what he needed to do.
Yeah. Like, you got to learn, girl. I don't care what you got. Okay. It's just like us in the real world. You can have something terrible going on in your personal life, but you don't go to work smacking down your damn manager. You don't do it. Right? You don't do it.
Right. You don't do it.
So,
not if you want to keep your job.
Right, exactly. So she running her mouth. I can't take it. I cannot take it. You see, I'm very emotionally vested here.
That's right. That's right. Pack dynamics.
That's the best.
Yeah.
So yeah, I wish he had done more. I wonder if that was part of his issues in this book, that he just didn't act that strongly towards his pack. I don't know.
That didn't quite come across.
I didn't think so either. And it wouldn't have in the moment. That's something like you might look at after you finish reading the book and go, oh, well, maybe. But yeah, I was disappointed that she didn't get a bigger smackdown.
She's almost rewarded.
Yeah.
He's like, let's call Brand and get you a surrogate. If this is what's making you upset, let's fix it. And I was like, you need to put her in a place and then in a week give her what she wants. You know.
Anyway, it was weak, like you said.
Yeah.
I mean, kind of even how Daryl was acting was a little, I don't know. I just wanted more out of everyone out of that whole situation when it was said and done. But even as simple as, like, Mercy walks in the house and people giving her the evil eye. And she like, what's going on? And it's like, I'm like, what?
It's back like, in book 5 or something? Yeah.
Right. It's like flashback. Has nobody grown at all? I thought we did. I thought we were past this, but apparently not. We're right back there.
They're all teenagers in middle school. Like, they're not growing up. They're not getting better.
It does seem that way a little bit when they talk about all the pack gossip and everything.
And I mean, Mercy's situation with Adam, she was basically letting us know very early on in this book, in the first like 15 pages, obviously something is wrong with their relationship right now, to the point where when that did go down, she basically avoided him. She didn't even, like, I think confront him like she would have. She kind of just walked off into the bathroom or something. I'm like, what?
Well, he was in the middle of something with Jesse, right? So she didn't want to interrupt that.
But Jesse came out. Remember, she flew by and she gave Ariel like this evil look and kept going. And then Mercy didn't really do anything.
No, she did. Adam was chasing Jesse, and she
stopped Adam.
Yeah.
So
she did do that.
She was standing up for Jesse, though, not necessarily for herself.
No.
No, but at the end of that chapter, when Ariel talks smack about Mercy in front of everybody and Adam says nothing, Mercy just walks out of the house, and he doesn't follow her right away.
Mm-hmm.
He waits until she finds dead bodies to go after her. And I was like, what are your priorities here, dude?
Yeah.
What are your priorities?
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's how you start off a book, right? Is with the conflict and people acting out of character and what the heck is going on. If it was just business as usual, that would be a boring start to a story.
Very true. But it doesn't make it any less infuriating.
Yeah.
I feel like we feel it.
We start this book with what the hell is wrong with Adam? So.
Yeah.
And something is really wrong with Adam.
It is. And, coming off of the tale of, like, I really had, even though it's been a year since we read the last book, I really had forgotten, even though it shocked me when I read it, how he had killed Elizabeth. I was like, dang, we were all like, damn, he just like off to her. But I didn't realize that event, I would not have connected the dots that event would have caused the stuff in this book. So it was really smart how Briggs kind of wove that consequence in from that action. I thought it was really good, and I bought it. I was like, oh shit. I'm like, no.
Yeah.
And she has been weaving those issues for Adam into the entire series. Yeah. Like, this is why he stayed away from Mercy in the first 3 books, is because he didn't think he was good enough for her. So he's always had these issues, but it never would have come out until this moment, because he never would have let it out until he was physically turning into the monster.
Right. Because he was worried for her safety.
Which, can I just say, that one scene where they're in the bed and she wakes up and she's like, I feel like someone's like hunting me or something. Like, you feel like a predator's in the room.
Yep.
And then she kind of just lays there, and then the wolf is there. I'm like, oh my God, that was Adam's ass. He's gonna do something. Oh my God, that's so scary. Like, she never thought he would ever do anything, and he didn't really do anything. But the fact that he was so menacing and like that vibe was coming off him,
Yeah, and
do you guys think he would have hurt her as the monster at any point?
I didn't until that one scene near the end in the garage, and then I wasn't so sure.
I feel like it was a possibility. I feel like obviously the wolf felt it was a possibility. That's why he took over. Those times he was able to, before he got pushed out all the way. Because he wouldn't have done that if he didn't feel he had to, because he had to protect his mate as well. So
after the monster killed Fiona, and like, spoilers, guys, this is totally not a linear discussion, right? So
never is.
After the monster killed Fiona, he was eyeballing Mercy, or at least she felt that he was.
Bit the thing around her neck, but she said it was like very deliberate. So I was trying to figure out if he was like trying to bite it off her and then got hurt because it was silver.
That's what I was
kind
thinking.
of upset by that.
Yeah, but after that, she said it felt like he was looking at her abdomen, like he was going to attack her to eat her, So I felt like at least Mercy wasn't sure in those moments.
In that moment,
Yeah, isn't that the point where, didn't she use her bonds to do something at that point? That kind of that whole bond thing, like the way that Briggs describes this bond for Mercy, it's like it's a second, like, not a world, but a world. Like it's in your brain,
it's
but
like
you
another
visually
dimension.
see it, right? It's like another dimension that you can slide into. And I always think that is really interesting to show us like the situation with the relationship between them two. It's like she describes, oh, it's like ice, oh, it's like gross and bloody, or oh, it's gold and tightly wound, or so that kind of has a direct indication to what's going on with them.
Yeah, I felt like she spent a lot of time in that dimension in this book, more so than previous books. Am I just forgetting the other books, or did you guys feel that way too?
Well, she did use it before. It's more here, but
she's used it before, but it felt more here.
Like, because in this situation, she used it both for Stefan, whatever, and and Adam, and she used like when she was taken to that Fae world, I think it was. I can't remember what book that was. I feel like that is where she really learned about the bonds, because I think Bran showed up in her mind and helped her, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
So
I don't remember.
I can't remember what installment that was, but she was gone for all that time and she could not reach people, but she was learning.
Yeah, she was in there for like 3 months or something.
Crazy. It was referenced in this book when they talked about.
Yeah.
It mentioned how much time she spent in. I don't know if it was Underhill specifically, but in like the Fae world.
So,
the prisoner of the Fae princess or something.
But she uses those bonds in a way that, I mean, I kind of thought when I was reading it, I thought it was kind of weird how she would say, "Oh, I took a pearl out of my mouth," or "I took I was going for a diamond, but instead I got a flower or something."
Yeah. The dandelion seed.
Yeah.
Have you read that fairy tale? I do remember that fairy tale. The something, and it was like Jewels and Toads or something like that. It's an old fairy tale, and I don't remember all the details. It was referenced in the book, but it talks about like the good princess, when she spoke, she like diamonds and jewels fell from her mouth, and the bad sister or whatever had toad. They didn't talk about it in the story, but the villain of that fairy tale had like toads falling out of her mouth. So I kind of like that reference, but it's been a long time since I read that particular fairy tale.
See,
but
I wish I had known that's where it was from. It was from a fairy tale. I thought that was like original.
It was referenced. It was referenced, but
I must have missed.
But yeah, if it didn't click for you, then I can see why you'd miss it. But I did like that, and I think that it set us up for the answer to the riddle too. But I don't want to get too far ahead of ourselves.
Yeah, we get there.
Even though I already have, but
we jump. It's okay.
So we had like we always have like more than one thing going on in these books. There's never just one thing. So we have, so what's old girl's name? I forgot her name that came out of Underhill. What's her name?
Tilly.
That little girl is wretched.
She is dangerous.
And she's not really a little girl. She's she presents as one, but
she's power. Yeah. She's like a manifestation of just pure power.
Yeah. So she didn't like, how things were going. She didn't think that the Fae were playing fair. So what does she do? She opens the thing in Mercy's backyard and, hey, you deal with it. So we've got that creature we're dealing with. And then, of course, we've got Adam's thing and, of course, the pack things and, whatever else we can throw in.
And then this other pack of wolves that came in to kill everybody.
Right. So there's I felt like there were three main, like the Tilly thing was part of the smoke monster. That was obvious, right? And then there was the other wolves, and then there was the identity crisis that Adam was having. So those I thought were the three main threads.
Yeah, pretty much. But that's a lot. And she tackles it. I mean, that's a lot in under 340 pages. But as always, it just all like comes together. I don't feel like anything is missing. I felt like, we got the answers clearly enough that we needed for most of the things. And of course, one thing was left over that wasn't resolved.
Right.
Kind of carry it through. So,
and that's going to set up for like the next 3 books or something.
Yeah. This incipient war with the Fae or whatever.
mm-hmm.
It's going to get nasty.
Pretty scary.
Yeah, dealing with the Fae in general is always such a tricky and difficult and delicate situation. And it's like she's always having to think about what she says, how she says it, and even getting information from like Beauclair or, even Z or whoever. It's like she always has to, even though Z now kind of just tells her plainly, but, Beauclair doesn't. Uncle, whatever his name doesn't. Uncle Mike doesn't. So she's always having to like take bits and pieces, try to rearrange them, figure out what they're actually trying to say without saying. And that's
one of the things I love about these books, and that I like about sort of books that have to do with demons is sort of that clever bargaining that you have to do. And avoid trapping yourself, and in the good ones, then your favorite person thinks through everything and comes up with the perfect bargain, and I do enjoy that.
Her bargain kind of threw me, so I guess we can. Do we want to? Let's just talk about the smoke monster. Sure. Let's talk about it.
Okay.
So the smoke monster is what came out of Underhill. And the thing bites people and can usually like puppeteer them for a while. And then while he's doing that, he's having them kill people to amass power so that he can then take their body or, take their skin or whatever, however they call it.
And gain power through every death that they commit.
Right. So
murder.
Right. So that was like, again, Tilly is like very sneaky. So the guy, when apparently she gave him this power. And then when he said it's no fair, I can't do with anything cool because I'm still weak. So she said, well, let me just add this. So now you have to do this extra step to amass power so you can then take the control of the bodies or whatever. So in that, so we know it's a Fae. We know that we learned that Tilly had acquired him through a bargain.
Right.
And then Mercy starts pulling all these things together after this conversation. So did you think that was like what is the word I'm looking for?
It's pretty convoluted.
It is convoluted. I understood it, but me trying to say it sounds crazy. But
it definitely sounds crazy, but it's very Fae in and of itself.
Yeah.
And I'm familiar with the story of, here comes the big spoiler, of Rumpelstiltskin, right? And I wasn't surprised when that was the answer, but I didn't have it in my head that that's what the answer was going to be. I don't know if did you, Casey? You had that look like maybe.
I was confused by Rumpelstiltskin. Yeah. Tell me how she got there, because I was trying to figure out Rumpelstiltskin. What?
The traditional Rumpelstiltskin fairy tale that I know of is it's like a miller's daughter is I don't know, somehow she's forced to try to spin straw into gold with a spinning wheel. And of course she can't do that. And I forget how she got herself into that situation, but she got locked into a room and was, by the king, and she had to spin so much straw into so much gold or terrible things would happen. And so she was having this crisis and somehow invoked Rumpelstiltskin and made this bargain with him. And the bargain was that he would help her do what she needed to do. She had to give up her firstborn child. And to get out of that bargain, he said, well, if you can guess my name, then you can get out of the bargain. And I can't remember how she figured out his name, but
was it because the Fae couldn't say his name? Was that the trigger?
The trigger to connect those dots.
Yeah.
I think that was part of it. Yeah. So
I feel like she mentioned it at some point, and that's how it got into my head, because otherwise I never would have made that connection.
No, Rumpelstiltskin was not mentioned before we got to the very end.
It wasn't.
And really all the Fae have that thing about, Fae and demons have that thing about knowing their name, and that's the way you invoke them. So that wasn't it in itself enough to make me pull out that fairy tale from the depths of my childhood. So I feel like I need to go before the next book comes out. We need to like read all the Grimms and read all the French ones. You're like, okay, now I know I'm ready.
I just wish for me, so I already knew that Mercy, had pointed out that the Fae couldn't say his name because Beauclair couldn't. He said he can't.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Right.
So I knew that part of it was from there, and I'm trying to figure out, because for me to just close the loop, I want to know like what in her mind said click. Oh, his name is.
Yeah, a lot of that sort of happened in her mind, and she kind of kept it a secret till she was ready for the big reveal. So I felt that was a little bit that was a little bit pat, maybe tied up to, I don't know, what do you guys think?
I still feel like there was something in there that triggered Rumpelstiltskin for me, but there was nothing overt where my brain said, yes, this is Rumpelstiltskin.
It was supposed to be the bargaining. It was the bargaining, and maybe the firstborn child, because that was part of the original.
Yeah, she said that at one point, and I don't know. Like you hear that a lot with witches and bargains and Baba Yaga and all these other fairy tales where you're not supposed to know the name, and a life for a life. So that was all very, typical, but something triggered, and my brain had Rumpelstiltskin. I was like, no, that's wrong. And then she said, I was like, did I guess right? I think I was wrong. What happened here? Like,
she said Rumpelstiltskin. I was like, what? I'm like, what? That sounds so out of whack with everything else. Rumpelstiltskin, but I'm like, okay, I'll just roll with it. I don't.
Yeah, there's Baba Yaga. Just roll with it.
Yeah. Yeah, she said something too in that conversation where she had took over Beauclair for like one sentence. She said something. I can't remember exactly what she said.
Something about a bargain.
Take them at. Now I'm curious.
The part of the conversation with Beauclair that was most interesting to me was when she asked if they were allies, and he's like, "I wouldn't say that."
Like, no, I wouldn't go
she asked if they were friends, and he's like, "Maybe we're trusting allies."
Said,
okay.
Like they have an alliance basically right now. As long as they align on the same side of things. Scratch my back, I'll scratch yours. But we know from past books he will clown and take people out. So it's
benevolent self-interest.
Yeah, right.
And the second this Fae war starts, he's calling Mercy for backup.
Oh,
yeah.
Maybe not the second, but she's getting dragged into this war.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's a scary proposition. The other thing that's scary is the Hardesty? The witch family is still out there wanting revenge. So that's pretty scary too.
So that's
Wolf is stalking Mercy.
Wolf is
creepy.
So weird.
That's I guess the fourth thread, right?
Look, the scene where
your face.
Oh my God, I know, right? My face. Okay, you guys got to be on Patreon to see my face, but that scene where he's like laying naked on the car.
Like,
oh my!
Make him a blanket.
What is wrong with that guy? He is.
Give him the blanket Christy used.
Yeah.
Yes. It smells like Christy.
And don't tell him it's from me. Tell him
it's from all of us.
We thought.
We don't want you to get cold.
Oh, he's a creep. He's very strange.
Final scene with him and Stefan playing The Sound of Silence while sitting on her car with a violin and a guitar. It's like, nope.
Can't do it.
Nope.
What is that? I don't know what to think about that exactly, except that she had a warm fuzzy about it when it was all over.
I think,
which is weird, right?
Stefan. I think she was just happy to see him,
alive,
doing whatever kind of shenanigans. But
yeah, she said it was his smile that made her feel good.
Yeah.
But I think Wolf is on her side. I mean, if he wanted to do bad things, he would have done it. He was watching out for her. He helped her when she got bitten by the smoke monster.
But I think he's another one where when he thinks you're interesting and he's about you for that moment, sure, he's going to help you. Yeah. She's used that word before, interesting. He thinks I'm interesting or whatever. But when he finds something else or you're no longer on his good list, watch out. Because
that reminded me of one of the ambiguously evil guys in the Hidden Legacy series with Ilona Andrews. There was the one guy, he died early in the book, but he was like a collector, and that was the scene where she like left the big bruise exposed because that would make her more interesting to the guy that wanted to have a collection, right?
Ooh, and I feel like
I remember him.
Wolf probably will be the just creep factor for the next couple books until he decides to be dangerous to the point where they need to take him out. Because I think we got some foreshadowing, because Bran, when she talked to Bran, he said, I'll leave him to you and Adam for now. You know, he basically said, that guy gotta go, but okay, I will honor your wishes for now. So it's only a matter.
Well, he's witch bound, or he's a witch and a magician and a vampire, right?
Yeah. And he was using white magic, which was very odd.
So was he witch bound? There was a little thing there was a little comment in there, and I forget. I think it probably came up in the last book, but I don't remember it exactly. But it said that Kent, one of the invading wolves, was witch bound to Fiona, and so there was a comment that he's not free and clear yet, right? So Fiona's dead, but Kent is potentially a loose cannon there. Because he's involved with the Hardesties.
Take care of him, it's Bran.
Well, sure, but he's involved with the Hardesties now, so that's a wild card.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, all these wolves that are still alive kind of could be wild cards, even though they all are going to Bran for a while. I mean, it could be some months or years. He's going to let them just hang out. Basically,
yeah, you're like what did he say? Adam's pack was too scary for them. Stuff. Like we changed our mind. We don't want to be here.
Like, y'all got some crazy shenanigans going on.
That's out. Right. We're gonna go to Montana instead. Yeah.
We'll take the rules over this. Okay, we'll take the rules.
Well, that did leave a little bit of an opening about the Texas pack, right? So there's something going on there where the alpha is not a good guy.
Which they could
Warren's old pack.
Is it Warren's old pack? I didn't realize that.
Was he in that pack?
No,
he's the one who knew about it, and he's from Texas.
I
don't think that was his pack, though. But that could be something that they leave open for Charles to come around and take care of in an Alpha and Omega book.
Yeah.
So
true enough.
And the Florida pack that they fled from too. Like they mentioned a few packs that are having issues, so that could be setting up for Charles and Anna to go out.
That does sound like an Alpha Omega type storyline.
I mean, he's the enforcer. He go around, take care of business. And now that those people are back on their radar and they can hear what's going on, because he said I haven't heard anything about that pack in decades. Like, no one's saying anything. So I can't do anything about something I don't know about, basically. So
who was saying that?
Bran, when he was talking to Mercy, he was saying
that's a bunch of crap. You need to go. You need to know what's going on in your packs. You can't just say, "Oh, no."
Well, he can't do anything unless he has a definitive complaint.
Right? Yeah. No one's talking, and so
but he can have spies to see what's going on.
Yeah, he could, but maybe he's just.
I would expect that of Bran.
He probably does.
Well, then why isn't he taking care of it?
Right? That's my point. Like, I don't think he doesn't know what's going on.
I don't know. Bran's also, he does things for his own reasons as well. Like, even as far as letting Mercy's in Adam's pack go. Mercy even said this to the wolves. She's like, we're independent because Bran allows it. Okay? He allows us to do this because he's still pulling our chain. Okay? So...
And I mean, she does call him at night and ask for help.
She did. So what do you expect? He's going to tell you what to do. That's what you ask.
Give good advice. She's like, you can't give me an order, but you can give me advice. He's like, oh, all right. I advise you strongly.
And then he left one thing that was kind of like not an answer. He's like, but what, she says to him, well, what about, Adam? And he's, the bond. And he's like, blow it up, click, blow it up, sees what happens and see what happens. Click. And he hangs up the phone. She like, what? Blow it up? What does that mean? Like, what does he mean exactly?
Yeah, that's a scary bit of advice.
I had a bad thought when he said that he meant like if she blew it up, she would end the bond and the relationship with Adam, and that would leave her free for him.
Oh, gross. No. No.
Especially in the Alpha and Omega series, there's those hints where like he wanted her as more than a daughter.
Really?
Yeah. Like it I don't think it was ever explicitly said. But there were those hints of like, you know, that's
because
why Leah hated her so much because
she can have babies.
Because she can have babies. And so Bran wanted her for the same reason Samuel did, but Samuel went after her when she was 16, and Bran was like, no, go live your life, be an adult. And then she fell in love with Adam. And so I had that thought that when he said blow it up, I was like, oh, like, is this a good advice thing or a selfish advice thing?
I feel like he is a father figure to her now.
Oh, absolutely. Like, she doesn't see him as anything but a father, and she would never be with him that way. Like, that would just never...
It would never happen.
No.
I didn't get that from it, but I did wonder what he meant by blow it up. Like, because you talk about like blowing up your phone, and that means like just cram as many messages as you can, like all the time. So I thought that maybe that, you know, it was like just keep on hammering at the bond and forcing messages through it. That maybe that's what he meant. But
I thought he meant not blow it up as in destroy it. Maybe like blow the door open or whatever.
Yeah. Like, I felt like it was an ambiguous thing. He didn't say destroy it, right? He didn't say sever it. He didn't say, he said blow it up, which I think has a couple different interpretations.
Which could be dangerous because she could take it any kind of way.
Right? But and that's never accidentally ambiguous, right?
He knows everything.
He's creepy too. I mean, I like Bran, but he's just a little bit creepy. Like
a little bit. He just knows too much.
Yeah. Yeah. So he's just he knows too much. I hear you. Okay.
Yeah, no, I love the smoke monster. That's the engine of the story, right? That kept going, and like, what are the questions and what are all these pieces and how's she solving that puzzle? And I love that, but the Adam storyline is the part that really engaged me emotionally, right? So like, what's going on and why aren't they good? And you know, and then when you see the monster for the first time and you realize what's going on, it's just so heartbreaking.
I almost threw my book down when Adam was about to shoot his own head off.
Oh,
like when he had the gun in his hand and he was raising it, and then Mercy like jumped into her otherness. I was like, bitch, you go sit in the otherness while he kills himself. I will burn this book. I did not sit through 12 books just to lose Adam this way. Like, no.
I guess I didn't think that was going to happen. And to be honest, I didn't get that I was reading so fast, I think that I didn't realize he was threatening himself. I think, you know, he was like juggling this gun and she didn't know what was going to happen. And I'm wrong. Like, I'm wrong, but I didn't have that reaction that you did because that's not where my head was when we went into that otherness scene.
I mean, at first I didn't know what he was going to do with the gun. I didn't know if he was going to try to shoot her or shoot himself at first, but it became pretty quick, apparent pretty quick. It was going to be, something he was going to use on himself. But I think Mercy uses the bonds again, kind of like a back door. So if you're not listening to me now, maybe I'll just go slip something in the bond, kind of like subconsciously, kind of. And it worked, thank goodness. And I'm like, oh, I love her because she's like, you know what? If you freaking kill yourself, I'm gonna drag your ass back here and you're gonna be staring at us every damn day and you're gonna feel regret. So it's like I double dog dare you to kill yourself because I'm miserable.
And she absolutely would.
Yeah.
His ghost would be in their house 24/7. She'd drag him around. She'd hold him the way she did with her neighbors. Yeah, no, I was very worried for a moment, and I loved Mercy, and yeah.
I can't believe he was going to do that. I mean, for somebody so strong, even though you have an intense hate about some parts of you, I just can't believe he thinks his whole entire person is a monster. Like everything about me is a monster. I deserve to die. Like, I'm like, what the hell? Like, I don't know. It just seemed extreme. Like, he's always kind of had these, like we mentioned earlier, he's always kind of had these insecurities, let's say, but it never read to me like he was this far gone. Like, I don't
think he was until the spell.
Yeah.
And that was the whole thing, was that he had the quote unquote fertile ground. And that's why her spell was able to grab hold of him so deeply, I guess is the word.
I mean, I thought it was a metaphor for depression.
Oh, absolutely.
Right.
Yes. So, and how it grows out of control.
And you look at these people that are uber competent and confident on the outside, and you don't know what's going on with them on the inside. And there's parts of you that are great and parts of you that are, negative. And it's all about how you balance them and which one gains the upper hand over your psyche or your life.
Yeah, I guess that would be depression, although I didn't think of it in that term exactly when I was reading it. Yeah. I don't know. I guess.
I mean, lots of PTSD.
Right.
He went to war. He's a werewolf. He has so much PTSD.
Well, that scene when they walk through all of the bodies that he was responsible for was really poignant is kind of a hokey word, but that's what comes to mind.
Even that one, even when you couldn't see their face or whatever, he still had a body.
The child sniper.
He still had the body there. It's like, wow, man. Like,
and those regrets he has are crystal clear, right? Even though that's like 50, 60 years ago, he's like, here's what happened, and I let somebody go and track down the body, and I should have done that. I should have seen the face that I took out, and I thought it was very moving.
So this may sound like out of left field. Maybe it's been addressed and I'm just not remembering it right now. But why, if you felt like you are so bad this whole time, even if you're not like as far gone as you are with the spell, even if you felt bad enough that you wanted to push Mercy away, bad enough that you didn't want to pursue her, why were you good enough for Christy? Like, I mean, so this witch, she cool because she just as bad as me. I mean, like, why did you think you were okay in a relationship with Christy, but this whole time you've been loathing your actions, loathing yourself? I don't understand like how that happened, but yet.
Well, he and Christy didn't have the mate bond, so he didn't take that last step with her.
So I think it was that he was lonely. He felt like he had to have a wife because, he grew up in the 50s where you have to have your wife and your child and you have to have all of that shit. So he felt like he had to be there with her. And then she's so good at manipulating. So he felt like he had to protect somebody and he could be her hero. He could be her protector in everything, and she would make everything such a big deal. And
even though she hated that protection, she hated it.
Yeah. So she would twist it around and make him feel worse about himself and then ask him for help. And so it was this convoluted, abusive shit show.
Codependent.
That he thought codependent.
Okay.
That he thought he
deserved. Well, I guess he was okay with her then because he deserved it, I guess. I don't know. I just can't. Anyway.
Christy.
Yeah, like, get your life together, man.
We love to hate Christy.
She is one of those characters that there is no way that you can't hate her. Like, I'd like to see someone who actually likes Christy. Explain to me why you like her. Convince me as to why I should like her. Please let me know. Because I'm like, she's the worst. Like, written like that, like on purpose, I think. She's just...
I mean, I know people in real life who act that way, who would probably like her character, but
I don't know. I would like to see more positive female characters in this series. You know, we've got Honey, who's sometimes in it and sometimes not, and Mary Jo, I think.
Yeah.
But you know, there's so many negative women, you know, Marcilia and Tilly and Christy, and I guess Jesse's one, but
Ariel and her whole I
Yeah.
hate you, but I kind of respect you, but you took everything away from Christy and all that bullshit.
Yeah.
Girl
So
fights.
there's so much. I wish there were a handful of stronger female characters, is what I'm saying.
Okay, so
like
I'm
everybody
sorry.
that she can rely on is male, right?
True.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so this is just something that I just noticed. And, you know, before this, I had listened to the audiobooks for most of the series, but I have half and half. I read half and listened to half. So when I read the book, I find myself hearing the narrator in my mind.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So when I say Arielle,
yeah,
that is correct. But then you guys keep saying Ariel, and I'm like, how's the name spelled? And I go back and I look, I'm like, it does have an E on the end. And then I'm thinking, I'm trying to hear the narrator's voice in my mind. I feel like it's Arielle. Sorry, but we can call it. I'm sorry. I was saying that the whole time, and you guys are saying it different. I'm like, I
don't think it matters when you read it. It's whatever's in your head, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. True. Anyway. But yes, I concur with you guys. I would like to see some more positive female characters in the books. Even if we had one.
She needs a BFF.
She does need a BFF. Mm-hmm. Like a ride or die.
Who's not a man who's in love with her.
Yes, preferably. Yeah. Or someone who's going to turn around and try to kill her in the next book.
I mean, Z doesn't want to love her that way. So but he's a guy.
He's a guy.
So we need...
He's like, I don't know, 8,000 years old too. So
yeah.
I don't think she's going to get one though, because we're so far into this series. I think that ship has sailed. Although what's his face's wife could have been a good option. Miguel, what's the guy's name who turns into the Tivasena?
Right. So what's her name?
I
know who you mean.
Shows up. Her. Yeah, she shows up and cooks.
Heather?
No.
Hannah? Starts with an H.
The one Hannah was the other mom who had.
Hannah was the wolf's, the mother of the wolf, the kids that got, like the one daughter that got snatched up.
Right.
Yeah, that's.
Oh, what did you guys think of that scene?
Talked about it a lot with Ariel surfing on the hood of the VW, and that seemed a little logistically
impossible.
Improbable is what I was going to say. But
have you guys not watched Death Proof by Quentin Tarantino?
I have not.
Basically what they do in the movie.
Oh, really?
Yes. They're going like 80 miles an hour. So.
Okay.
Yeah. No, it's a thing.
It would be a fun scene to watch, right? But it didn't quite gel in my head visually, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Where is it? I can't find the lady's name now. Took breakfast down to Ben. This was after the bacon and eggs.
Josh, what's his name? It's Joel. Joel is
his name.
Yeah,
Lucia.
Lucia.
Okay.
Yeah, she was very minor in this story.
She was, but I guess my point I was saying was if there were going to be like a time to insert a female friend, she would be ideal because she's always there. She lives in the house. Like she saved her family from despair. So if they were going to give her a bestie or something, that would be ideal. She didn't have to go out and make a friend kind of thing, but it's not going to happen.
I want to know more about Hannah and her granny's remedies, right? So that was
her Faye bourbon.
Magic. Yeah.
Faye laced bourbon. Mm-hmm. That's kind of cool.
It's better than a painkiller.
Yeah.
I would drink that.
So I thought it was strange. This is maybe a tiny thing, but when Beauclair said very definitively that, take Tilly something that you made yourself, and she bakes all the time, right? She makes cookies all the time. She makes all kinds of stuff, but instead of doing that, she like took things that other people made and just, I thought it was kind of half-assed. I was surprised by that.
Yeah, me too.
Yes, I felt that way too. But then, like, for the first time, like, she actually slept in that morning, and I guess she just wanted to get things done instead of spending 2 hours baking.
Okay.
I guess.
Yeah, it still seemed a little surprising. It surprised me that she didn't like bake something herself.
Especially after it was kind of like literally quite put very literal, make something.
Make something sweet.
Yes.
Yeah, like,
and
I
she made
assembled it.
chocolate chip cookies like 3 other times this
Right.
month.
So that just seems strange.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Which, by the way, I would love that chocolate chip cookie recipe, so I can try it because it sounds great. So if there is a real recipe, can you post it somewhere if it's a real recipe?
Along with a little Fay laced bourbon.
Yes.
Put a little of that in there instead of the vanilla extract.
I would buy that. I would if it were a real thing.
Absolutely. Oh, yes.
Yeah. So instead of cookies laced with something green, we'd have cookies laced with Fay
something
bourbon.
Fay.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't know. That seems like it could go badly potentially.
Maybe. Depends on what kind of.
Well, remember, Tilly got into this whole mess because she was super drunk. Remember?
Yes.
That's that whole bargain happened because she'd been drinking too. I don't really remember it.
Mm-hmm. But she also mentions that if he had known about the fire, then the smoke monster would have wanted the fire.
Mm-hmm.
But she was like, I'm glad I didn't give it to him and gave it to you. She's talking to Aiden,
Right.
which made me think like then maybe this might be another bit of foreshadowing where she's gonna be like, hey dude, I'm gonna need that shit back or something.
Yeah, or convince him to come back into the Underhill because he said I'll never be there, and she looked at him and she's like, never say never, never's too long.
Yep.
I was like, oh, that's creepy.
There's definitely some future book stuff happening there. So and especially the whole like near the end, and I didn't really see this, maybe it was coming up in other books, but I didn't really see this other than Mercy just coming out and saying it, that Tilly is marshaling her power. She's taking back powers from other beings, and she's setting things up, and she's not happy with the Fae, and like I don't know, I totally didn't get that from the story other than when Mercy just kind of spelled it out.
Yeah, even she did say they weren't acting nice or something, but that was just one sentence.
She told Aiden that the Fae weren't being nice, and she locked them all out of Underhill. Like that was in a previous book, and I feel like that's the biggest red flag that we've seen is that she locked them all out and then created a door in Mercy's backyard
that has to stay for a year and a day.
So
and that's a long time in this series world.
Yeah, it is.
You got lots of stuff coming out that door.
I think that will definitely show up in future books.
Although the little girl, I still say little girl because that's how she presents. When she came out and ate the waffle and stuff, she had on this bloody dress basically that was like with salt water on it. I'm like, what the heck was she doing? So she
killing something.
Yeah, she has the conversation. She's like, okay, I'm going to kill something. She's like, oh my God.
I'm gonna go have some more fun.
What a wretched little person, I tell you. That's one thing Briggs does know how to do is make some really bad villains. Like they're bad.
Incipient evil.
Yeah, it's like you can't even feel sorry for them because they're just bad, and that's okay.
Yeah, I was ready for Elizaveta's neck to be snapped. I was ready for Fiona's head to get blown off. I'm all okay with all that.
Yes, I've said this before. Like, you don't have to like feel some kind of sympathy or something. You don't have to feel bad for the villains. They don't have to have this deep story that makes you be like, oh, that's why they're like that. Sometimes
childhood.
Right. Sometimes they're just bad, and that's okay.
Well, her poor mate was murdered by Isabella? He was shot with silver at the end.
But she was well down the road of evil.
No.
Like
she was an assassin.
Yeah. She was,
doing work for Bran that Charles didn't want to do.
I want to know how she convinced Bran she was dead for like 5 or 6 years.
That's pretty surprising.
Yeah, Mr. I see all, I know all. How did that slip past you?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I mean, she was hiding really good. And I mean, she had these other people and they were hidden too. Like they had no clue where they were.
Mm-mm.
So,
do we think he was using some kind of fae magic? John or James or whoever you couldn't remember?
The older Pasco guy?
Yeah,
the guy in the group who you couldn't remember, and Mercy like serviced his car.
The one that turned to stone.
Yeah.
Maybe he could have been kept them hidden. Maybe it extends to his little mini pack there.
Mm-hmm. That would be a cool trick to have in your back pocket. Like, there's nothing to see, nothing over here. Let me just go snoop. but you don't see me, nothing here. Nothing
you don't see me, you don't know me.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen that kind of implication in other series, and like I've seen it called like a look away spell, where it's not like you make something invisible, you just make people not want to pay attention to it.
Mm-hmm.
But
so I think the last thing I'm going to mention that I really liked about this book is this is a skill that I think Patricia Briggs has nailed. Like, even though it's a full year between reading these books, she gives just enough to jog your memory in a way that is not retelling the whole last book or passages of the whole last book. She's really got that down. It's amazing. So I'm like, oh, I forgot that. That's right. And then it will all just come back for me. So it's like she knows exactly what trigger to touch, where to kind of pull the story back to the surface.
Yeah, I would.
And she's doing it for more than just the last book. She's touching like, oh, this was the bridge that got destroyed. Right. Oh, this is where I was when this person attacked me. And this is this reason and this is that thing. Yeah, no, she does that phenomenally.
Yeah, in a non-brain dumpy way. So it's not like, or info dump way,
Yep.
So, yeah, I liked it. I had a whole good time. The first, actually, when I picked it up, I read like 200 pages in the first day. And then I was like, oh, I'll put it down now. Since we're not recording, I'll put it down since we're not recording. And, then I finished like the last 100 and something pages like in one day. So it was good.
It's very...
I woke up this morning and started reading.
Oh, no. Wow. No, it's very readable. The pacing's great. It's pretty doable to sit down in 1 or 2 sittings and just read right through it. So...
But I've got to say, unfortunately, if you have not been reading this series, you cannot start here. You can't.
Oh, no.
This is not something that you can just start anywhere. So
I would agree with that. That would be, yeah. You'd be lost.
So if you are happy to be listening,
why is it? So it's a story about werewolves, but the guy named Wolf is actually a vampire. I'm so confused.
Right,
a child-looking like vampire.
Right,
he's several hundred years old.
And then there's Aiden, who's looks like a 6th grader, but is 600 years old, but can't read or write. So there's just a lot in all of these. There's an accumulated world building that's pretty massive at this point.
Yeah, so if you're like listening or watching and you guys are like, I like you guys, so I'm gonna watch. Sorry, you've got to go all to book 1
Start at the beginning.
This Moon Called. Pick it up, you'll love it.
But you're gonna thank us for it.
Yes, you'll thank us later. Be like, why did I not know about this? That's what will happen.
Exactly. There's one more subplot I want to touch on really, really quickly.
Okay,
it's more like a question that I have for you too. Do you guys think Jesse and Tad are going to hook up in a future book?
I thought about that.
Maybe possible.
Maybe.
I'd say it's possible.
Maybe she'll have to be a little older though.
She keeps trying to set him up with her friends.
Her friend just giggles and he's like, what is this?
I know. That's
I've decided to be amused by it, but what is it?
That was great.
She doesn't really want her friend to be set up with Tad. I think she's just, how kids do. They don't really want that. She'll figure it out later. Like, but I don't know.
I read it right now as more sibling-ish. So
yeah.
she's treating him like a big brother.
Well, she's still heartbroken over Gabriel, which was really sad.
Which we still have a note. We don't know exactly what.
Yeah, that was a little weird. So they're kind of worried about Gabriel, and but they didn't give us the that was a little bit of a setup, maybe.
Mm-hmm. Maybe there'll be a for like a love triangle. Dun dun dun. Oh my God,
no!
Some novellas, kind of like Kate Daniels when she had the I can't remember her adopted daughter's name, but they had a few novellas featuring the next generation.
I mean, maybe Jessie will get her own little novella or something. I don't think I don't want to read a whole book about her life, at least not this point in time. Maybe when she's all the way full grown adult, away from college, off to college for a couple years or something, maybe.
Yeah. I just don't want to read another story or a story where Jessie has to be rescued because she's human. Right?
Yeah.
I would not. I don't think I'd like that.
I wouldn't mind if Jessie somehow, I mean, this would totally turn the story on its head, but what if she got turned into a vampire?
Yeah.
Ooh.
I mean, what would Adam do? I mean, he'd probably lose his mind.
Totally. He would.
Totally. But I mean, yeah, that's kind of the only being that you're not born with that power, right? Unless the Fae could do something to you and make you a Fae. I'm not sure if that's something.
I mean, because if she's with Tad, maybe Tad can do something where she just will have a long life or something. Maybe. I don't know. There's some stuff that Briggs could play around with.
They can do things.
They can do things.
Yeah.
They can do things.
Yeah, for sure.
Like spin straw into gold and turn into a smoke monster. Like really the whole smoke monster thing has nothing at all to do with like the Rumpelstiltskin legend that I know.
And the body snatching, changing thing either. Like that's...
No, it's completely not what I remember from the traditional tale. Maybe there's something older that I don't know, but I don't know. So.
Okay.
Research time.
So did we cover all the stuff you guys wanted?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Okay.
We could keep talking, man.
Well, we probably will in the after show. So so you guys hit us up with questions. Find us in the Facebook group, Shelf Addiction Official. You know all the stuff. So we're gonna give our rating. Nicola, why don't you start first?
I'm gonna go with 5. I liked everything about this book.
Okay. Casey?
Also 5 stars. This is one of my favorite urban fantasy series ever, and this book was so on point for the series, and there was so much action, and it still felt new and fresh, and like these are issues that they would have. It's not formulaic. Yeah, it's not formulaic. She's not dragging it out just because she has the book deal and wants to make things happen, and
yeah, the relationships continue to evolve, and now they've got new issues with Jessie going away to college, and I love it.
And all the supernatural stuff is still happening, and everything. Yeah, it's new and fresh and strong.
Yes, I would agree. I actually am going to give it a 5. I would. I mean, I gave the last book a 5. I mean, I really have no complaints, really, and that is what will do it for me. If I could say I really can't complain about anything.
I found nothing.
I found nothing to complain about. But it actually gave me like all the feels. I'm like, I like when I audibly react to things. And of course, that is exactly what I did in this book. Calling shenanigans and being mad at people and all the stuff. So yeah, I really enjoyed it, and it was fast read to boot. I mean, time is precious. So to me, I love when I can sit down and just before I know it, 200 pages done. It's like, wow, that happened.
And it's not a short book. But it goes by fast.
Yes, it does. So yes, another winner in my book. So.
Woo.
And it ends with some nudging. The end was hilarious.
Nudge? Oh, like
the nudge. Oh, the nudge note that he wrote.
Yes, and the tabloid headlines.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
the throwback to the essential oils woman.
Right. Human question mark. Wife of Alpha. My husband is a sex fiend. Save me, save me. Narrator, no one saved me.
No one. I'm sure she's okay not being saved.
It was a wonderful ending. Left me with a big smile.
Yes. It was very cute. We got a lot to look forward to, but now we have to wait a whole nother year.
I know.
Or more. I thought it was 2 years.
No, don't you say that. Hush your mouth. No.
I thought it was 2 years before the next Mercy because we have another Alpha and Omega coming out next year.
Okay. Well,
I don't know. I could be wrong. I hope I'm wrong.
I feel like it's been a long time since I had an Alpha and Omega book. It's been a while. What was the last one? The last one was 5, Burn Bright, and that was 2018. So, wow. And then before that was 3 years before that. Yeah, those books come out slow.
Mm-hmm.
But we have fun times in this world ahead. So that's lovely.
Yep, no end in sight.
And plenty of time to do rereads.
Yes.
And or to catch up, all you folks
out. Or to catch up,
that are going, what are they talking about? You got to get caught up.
The diehard fans will know what's going on, right. And we know they are there because there are groups dedicated on Facebook. Okay, so I guess that's all we have to say about this book. So as usual, you guys, it's been a pleasure, and we hope to see you in Shelf Addiction Official Facebook group. And until next time, happy reading. Take care, everybody.
Happy reading.
Bye.
If you enjoyed today's episode and would like to show your support, there are a few things you can do. Head on over to Apple Podcasts and leave a positive 5-star review. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram. Most importantly, you can share this podcast with friends and family that love pop culture, from books and audiobooks to TV and movies. I'll see you next time here on the Shelf Addiction Podcast.
It's Mattress Firm's semi-annual sale. Right now, save up to $400 on our top-rated brands, like a Sealy Queen mattress that's now $399.99. Plus, take home a free adjustable base when you spend $699. At Mattress Firm, we make it easy to find the right bed for you. So hurry and visit mattressfirm.com or a store near you to save today. Your budget stretches further at Mattress Firm. Offer valid with qualifying purchase. Restrictions apply. Valid at participating locations only. For offer details, visit mattressfirm.com/sale.
Wow, how things can change from one week to the next. Hey, hope everybody out there is staying healthy. I know everything is super crazy. We feel disoriented by the COVID-19 virus. It's more important than ever to stay connected and check in with your loved ones. That's why I'm so happy I've got T-Mobile. Listen, T-Mobile isn't just talking the talk. They're taking measures right now to make life easier for everyone by doing the right thing for their customers during this really critical time. For example, T-Mobile has ensured all current customers with data plans have access to unlimited smartphone data on their network for 2 months. We're all in this together. T-Mobile truly believes that. And while many T-Mobile stores are temporarily closed to help keep customers and employees healthy, they've still got you covered with any help you need. Just check out T-Mobile.com. You can see what stores are still open and how you can manage your account online. Stay safe out there. During congestion, customers using more than 50 gigs a month may notice reduced speeds prioritization, video typically at 480p, capable device required.